Hi, everybody. Tom Hill III again here at Strikezone Studios in Upper Higher Wolcott. Today we have a sports program, and I'm going to turn it over in just a minute. He's normally Bob the Builder, but now he's Coach Bob from Strikezone Studios, and he's got Luca and Aiden, and he's going to teach you something about baseball with a couple of up-and-coming stars.
Well, these two guys, Aiden and Luca, I call them kind of my first-generation players. They've been here since they were 8.
Yeah, probably 8, yeah.
I was 8.
8
Oh,
years
those
old.
poor kids.
Yeah, and they've already grown up. They're seniors in high school. Aiden goes to Holy Cross. Luca goes to Bristol Central. And wanted to bring them in and get their perspective of what it's been like through the years to train here and how it may have affected them both in their baseball development as well as academics, how they've done in school and so forth. So why don't you introduce yourself? Aiden, you can go first, and Luca, introduce yourself and give us an idea of what you think of things.
So I'm Aiden. I'm a senior at Holy Cross High School. I'm a left-handed pitcher, and I'm committed to Western New England to play baseball.
What's Western New England about?
Western New England, they're D3 in Springfield, Massachusetts. Big business school.
Okay, we'll get there.
What are you going to school for?
I'm going to major in accounting.
Okay.
I'm Luca. I go to Bristol Central. I'm an outfielder and a third baseman. Not committed to any college yet. Looking at a few still. I want to go for pharmacy. Salve Regina is like my number one probably. They're a good pharmacy school, so.
Yeah, Rhode Island on the water.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good place. You could take up surfing after, too, but your coach may tell you don't try any other sports. Doesn't want to lose you. How come you play two positions of, how do you decipher from outfield to third base?
When I was younger, I played more third base, and I just kind of like the outfield more. I feel like get to throw a lot more in the outfield.
But you could play either part now?
Yeah. In high school, I played both, so.
I think that, for Luca, being able to play more than one position, if he's trying to play, whether it's on his travel team or high school or college, it just opens up more opportunities depending upon what the team's needs are. Where Aiden's a, outstanding left-handed pitcher, they're going to be less apt to let him, especially when he goes to college. They're not going to let him do anything. His arm is, they're just not going to chance getting him hurt.
So that's a specialty gig or position.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Really, you don't want to be throwing every single day. So if he pitches one day, he needs a little rest, etc.
All right, so, Coach, how do you coach a left-handed pitcher when they're a specialty and rare?
Aiden's a special left-handed pitcher in that probably of all the kids I've ever coached from a pitching standpoint, from the day he walked in, he was able to really perform the mechanics of what we were trying to go over and teach him. He just was able to apply it seamlessly. It just
So you're natural talent.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, confident, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but getting back, we talk about school, and we'll talk more about that. But both these guys are on the higher end intelligence-wise, and so when you're trying to not just teach them, but they're smart enough to decipher, what can work for them and not work for them, and they don't just play with me. We've worked together and whatnot, but they play on other teams. They go to different showcases.
I bet, though, when they come here, you get them back on the ground, answer their questions, and put them right in the best direction, Coach Bob.
Well, I mean,
Am I right, guys?
Yeah, definitely.
I've always encouraged them to, they're smart kids. Use their being. Be intelligent. There are certain things they may learn out there that can benefit them that I'm not telling them, and so. I think they're both smart enough to be able to apply what different things they may learn out in the environment of playing.
All right, Luca, come back to what he said, and how on the ball is he with what he's saying, and how has it helped you?
I think he's pretty good. When I came in, I was 8 years old. I barely swung a bat. I didn't really know the mechanics. I knew how to swing a bat, but no, I think the most things that we've worked with is probably tracking the ball in my rotation wise, on my back foot. So when you're hitting, you want to have a solid back foot. When you weight transfer, you want to transfer to your back leg. and have a good solid swing right through the ball. Took me a while to like break a habit of constantly moving my feet, but I think that's like the number one thing I would say that me and Bob worked on.
And what did tracking the ball mean?
Well, like when you have to find a spot when it leaves a pitcher's hand, right? So when he throws the ball, you have to pick up the ball quickly so that by the time it gets to you, you know if it's a ball you're gonna not swing, strike, you swing where the ball is gonna be. So I mean, I guess it gets better as you get older, but like the more in tune you are with that, the easier it is to hit. Like the quicker you could pick up the ball from the pitcher's hand, the easier to hit the ball. So I feel like those things are the number one thing that me and Bob have worked on. And getting that down, it just puts everything else into place with my swing and hitting the ball different parts of the field, knowing where to hit. So.
All right, is Luca telling the truth, Aiden?
Oh yeah, definitely is.
Your side of it, please.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Give the
Yeah.
coach a little critique or yay or whatever you have.
Yeah, I came in when I was 8. I didn't really know anything other than step and throw, holding a 4-seam. And then when I came in with Bob, he really helped me with just overall all the mechanics I could, especially how Lucas said tracking the ball with hitters. He taught me to hide it so it's harder for hitters to track. They won't be able to track it as well.
And is this pitcher required to bat too?
No, not in high school. I haven't hit in all 4 years of high school. I haven't hit all 4 years in high school. I came in, just pitched, nothing
But if
else.
you're in the rotation, they don't make the pitcher hit too?
Nope, designated hitter.
No.
Yeah, like you have designated hitters, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that Luca talked about tracking and Aiden talked about hiding the ball, focus, etc. It's one of the things that I try to teach them beyond the mechanics of whatever they're trying to do is how to control their mental approach, their focus, their being able to be calm and focused on what you're trying to do, no matter what the situation is, whether he's coming up in a tie game and a guy on, he knocks him in, he's the hero, right? Or Aiden's got a good game going, staying focused from the first pitch to the last mentally. And a lot of times these guys, depending upon the circumstances they're in, there's a lot going on around the field and whatnot that can take
Your
players,
mind off the play?
Yeah.
Young man, do you think that he could coach participants on Jeopardy? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a big part of it because especially when you're downstairs, like working on the machines that we have downstairs, it's easy to lose focus. Like you're hitting 150 balls off a machine, just constantly hitting. Like it's easy to lose focus, lose your swing, not pay attention to the ball, get into bad habits where you hold the bat, how you swing the bat. So like maintaining focus downstairs when you hit the ball 150 times, when you go into the game and you have 3 at bats, it's a lot easier to stay focused, a lot easier to get the most out of every pitch, get the most out of every at bat. I think, yeah, it's a big part of the game is definitely your mental aspect.
So Aiden's not hitting as much, so take his hitting thing and transfer it to a left-handed pitcher.
Well, when you're pitching here, throw, I don't know, however many pitches you want really in an hour. When in a game, most coaches have a pitch count. In the state for high school, you can only throw 110 in a game. So really,
Is that so you don't burn out your shoulder, or just...
yeah, that's really that's just a state law they have, and then really prevent injury.
Wow, they have state laws in baseball?
Well, it's
The CHSA.
it's rules and stuff, and I think they came out with them because so many guys didn't, they would overthrow kids.
Oh.
So to try to protect players, what they don't really take into account is mechanics. You take Aiden, his mechanics are outstanding. So the way he throws, there's a lot less stress on him.
Is that what mechanics is, Bob? Just take that right down to first grade level mechanics. With his mechanics.
Yeah, well, all pitchers' mechanics really. It's knowing how to not just separate your hands on time, but coming over the top, using your back leg, and not just throwing all arm. You know what I mean? And there are some guys you look at them and they just look like they're going to explode every time they throw the ball, and then you look at him and he throws so smooth. It's going to affect how well he can pitch longer. He's not going to run out of steam because his mechanics are so screwed up.
Not wearing himself out.
And he's going to recover quicker.
And Luca, was that the same when you were talking about getting on your back foot and not moving your legs around for batting? Is that mechanics for batting?
Yeah, like you want like good mechanics in batting. Like especially the way you track the ball. So you don't want to constantly move your feet. You don't want to have a crazy open stance. You always want to get your foot down before you swing, so you have a nice balance base before you swing. And getting like the mechanics down is like the most important, because like whether you face someone that throws 65 or someone that throws 95, like you want to have a good base so that you're able to hit those pitches. Like if you have bad mechanics, who cares if you can hit against someone that throws 65? But when you get to higher levels like high school or college, you want to make sure that everything's intact, so you're just timing up a pitcher rather than changing your swing every pitch.
Coach, are these smart young men playing softball or hardball?
They're playing hardball for sure. But one of the things that I think both of these guys really demonstrate, I said to them early on, if they want to do well in school and they want to perform at a high level, potentially play in college or travel or whatever you may want to do, you really got to choose to be different than most of the kids you know, because you're going to spend a lot of time developing those skills, working on your schoolwork, etc. And if you look at each one of these kids and you were to ask them, you know, from a grade standpoint, how has that helped them, whether they're recruiting or applying to a school or whatnot, what's the difference in that hard work and their great grades has meant to that process, and have them explain, because I think for the younger kids, you know, fortunately today there's more emphasis on your academics, but I've told them from an early age that's the key. You know, you got to have great grades and do the rest of the work, and everything will fall into place. And both of these guys have done that, you know.
So is that a time management? How do you guys manage your time to do what Coach Bob just explained?
Well, so I have a study hall. I've had study hall for the last few years, so getting a lot of my homework done then, and whatever free time I have that I could do my homework, so I have more time after school to either throw bullpens, work out, or just stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing. Like, spend your time wisely. Like, don't come home just not do your homework, wait till the last minute. Make sure you're on top of your grades, because that's where it starts. Like, Aiden could probably talk more about this, like the whole recruiting process, but you're not going to even get looked at unless your grades are already there. So that starts from freshman year, when, you know, you're maybe not even thinking about college, not even thinking about playing baseball. That starts from the minute you start high school. So getting that base will help you so much more in the long run compared to having to catch up behind everybody.
It gives them choices. How many schools did you have talking to you, for instance?
I would say about 10 and maybe a few more.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
And do you believe your academics were instrumental in a lot of their, not just your ability, but
They definitely were, because I know kids that have baseball talent. They could go like D1, like very high level college baseball, but since their grades aren't that good, they have to go and play for community colleges and stuff.
yeah.
You mentioned if you have time to work out, and then also you mentioned stretch. Talk a little bit about the workouts and the stretching that you do to excel in baseball.
Well, the stretching is really heavy emphasis on the arm, since I'm a pitcher. I can't have that get tight and then go to throw. If it's too tight and I go to throw, it could hurt myself really bad.
Your arm could fall off.
Yeah, pretty much. But then legs too are important, because pitching isn't just arms; it's a lot of legs to push off and get a strong base.
Machines or weights? How do you do that? Machines or just free weights or what?
A little bit of both.
Somewhere in particular, you got a gym in your house, or do you go somewhere?
I have some stuff at home, and then I also have one of my teammates for travel has a home gym, so I go up there sometimes with him.
I lift at home with free weights, or I go to Health Tracks. It's in Bristol. They have a full gym with the machines and stuff, but if I can't make it there, I train at home. I have dumbbells on the bench. So,
Coach Bob, what's your workout?
Oh, jeez.
Gotcha.
You know, listen, beyond what we're talking about when you talk time management, these guys don't just go to school and work on getting great grades and train and play and all that, but they work jobs. You know, they're working part-time jobs a lot of the time. So when you look at the time these guys are putting in,
Time management.
yeah, you know, it's time management. They know how to manage their time to be successful, and that's something that's gonna carry, they may or may not realize it now, but going forward, Luca mentioned getting your work done. Well, one day he's going to find out how important that is when he's competing for whatever he's trying to compete for in the pharmaceutical industry. Being able to do those things, there's a lot of people that can't.
Part-time job in a pharmacy?
Well, right now I have a part-time job as a dietary aide.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that getting a job is definitely I found really important, just because it sets you up, be more independent with your own money. You have your own money. You feel a sense of independence. Yeah. In time management too. I mean, my shifts are 3:30 to 7:30, so pretty much I get out of school, I have an hour, I go to work, and then I'm home by 8:30.
Geez, you could have brought us a couple BLTs.
Yeah, right. But
And Aiden, what's your part-time job?
I have a part-time job at CVS in Naugatuck.
Oh, I could come by there. I shop at Big Y across the street. I'll have to check on you. What's your shift?
It changes every week.
Oh, see, I don't know. I don't want me coming in. I get it.
During the season, it'll be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays because I don't have games those days.
Interesting. Bob and I just did a podcast on what were the 4 or 5 things we did last week in our jobs. You guys want to give us a typical week for you, mixing the coaching, the playing, working, and your homework?
Yeah, I mean, typical week. If I'm not here after school, I'm at the Sports Armory in Bristol. My high school coach, he runs that. So go to school, I get out at 2 o'clock, go straight down there till 4:30. If I don't have work, then I'm home by 5 o'clock and I do my homework, whatever else I need to do. If I have work, I leave the Armory a little early, go to work at 3:30, come home at 8:30, do my homework. During the week, there's not much free time to do anything else really, especially during the season. It's pretty much practice or game, then come home, do homework.
Aiden?
So most of my shifts are 5 to 10. So I'll get out of practice at 4:30, then go right to work, and then get home around 10:30.
I think it's a real compliment to you, Coach Bob, that they would take time out of their super busy schedules to come up here and get on a podcast. And for the audience, if you have kids, Bob, you do softball and baseball. And, I've known Bob and done business with him, 35 of my 40 years. Yeah. And he's a great guy. He knows his stuff. And I think that you would be wise if you had kids or young adults. I think you probably coach adults, too, that play on the weekends. Come on up. Strikezone.
We have some, but the kids, and you don't always have kids from 8 to all the way through college, basically. And we've got a few other kids that I'm going to call them first generation that are in college right now, and it's pretty cool to get an email of a film of a young man when he was 6, 7 years old, or a kid who's in college, just had their first at bat, and they thought enough of you to send you a film and a text of, hey, coach, it's kind of neat.
And you coach people in real estate and building as well. There's nothing like having a good coach out there, folks. I'm a 40-year commercial industrial real estate broker. I'm a veteran of the business, and I'm still getting coached. So it can't hurt. And you guys are smart to take this coaching and stay with it, because you can always get better.
Yeah, but I'll tell you.
What do you mean, yeah, but?
As much as I coach them, they coach me.
Well, and they say teaching is good for us, Bob. It's good for us, so we're delighted. I know I'm about done. I don't think I could cause any more trouble here in this interview, but you want to wrap it up, Bob?
I just want to thank you guys for coming down, man. You're a real credit to yourselves, and having you here. You always got a home here.
Luca, 30 seconds to finish it up. Anything you'd like to say?
Thank you for having us. I think it was a good little introduction. It's important to learn the other sides of the sport rather than baseball. Learn all the other things on the outside that help you get farther with the baseball.
Well stated. Aiden, you're on.
I couldn't say much more than Luca.
Come on.
Couldn't add much to it, but thank you for having us. It's been great 10 years, and it's taught me really everything, not just outside of baseball. Everything.
I learn from him all the time, too. Thanks, everybody. You're at the Strikezone Studios here up on Higher Wolcott Street on Route 69. Bob's Dynamite. If you want to give him a call, 203-982-3481. I know it by heart. 203-982-3481. Call him or text him. We're out.